Hello, this is Ted here from eModels. What we've got on the bench in front of us today is the Tamiya Challenger 1 Mark III British main battle tank. It's something I've been looking forward to building for quite a long time. It's always something I've wanted to build and then just really got on to build other things, but today I've got this on my bench in front of me and I'll try and show you how to build it. What I'm planning to do is try and show you in a stage where if you're returning to modelling for after a period of being away, if you're brand new to modelling even, or if this is the first tank you've ever built and wanted some ideas and wanted to see somebody build one for you. It's a 1/35th scale tank. The Challenger was in service with the British Army between 1983 up until about the mid-90s when it was superseded by the Challenger 2. This kit itself is quite an old kit, brought out by Tamiya in about 1985, and then following the Gulf War they actually upgraded this kit to the desert version. Really all they did to it was just add an extra sprue with some more parts on it. From the box art you can see it's depicted in that desert version with the reactive front armour and also the Chobham armour on the bazooka plates on the side of the tank, but basically it's just the standard NATO version Challenger tank. Let's have a look in the box, see what we've got inside. Right, first of all we've got the instructions. I have built the Chieftain version from Tamiya and knowing us before I even open the page that it will no doubt be, and yes it is, the same clear, concise instructions giving stages step by step. There look to be quite a couple of pages in this. There's actually 24 step-by-step stages instructions. Each of those stages is sort of split down into separate sections itself. Then going over to the back page, it gives you different versions for colour schemes. Top one is the desert version as shown on the box, and the second version is the NATO version. I'm probably going to think I build this in the NATO version. That's the black and green. That's without the reactive armour, and it also gives me the opportunity to show you how we would apply a camouflage scheme, a basic camouflage scheme to a tank. So let's have a look through this. Yep, loads of instructions, some little cartoons in the corners, just as a reminder of what to do. If you look at the tops of the pages, it tells you which parts for the desert version, which part for the NATO version. Yep, certainly looking right through, and even on the last page it shows you how to paint the camouflage outfits for the tank commander. Okay, that's the instructions. Let's have a look through the box, see what we've got. First one out, top of the box, is what looks like to be a set of road wheels. Two sets, obviously one for each side, all nicely moulded. Doesn't appear to be much any marks or excess plastic to file off. Nice detail, nice crisp clear detail on there. Yep. There's a tow cable. Yeah, lots of bits there. Okay, keep your plastic bags, always keep your bags, and I'll be putting the parts back in the bags later on so that we don't lose anything. There's a standard hull, nice firm hull, nothing that can't, there's a little ejector mark there, but nothing that needs desperately cleaning up, nice and clean. There's actually a date on that, Tamiya 1985, so that's probably when the moulds were first made for this tank. Let's have a look at the next piece. Yeah, what we've got here looks to be, first of all, is the turret. Yep, once again nice and clean, nothing to clean up off that. There's the tank commander in his NATO Parker. I think he'll be the one we'll be using. And the whole top. There's the whole top, engine guards, engine covers, filler caps, all sorts of nice detail on there. Something, what we will do as well, once we've done the painting, maybe if we've got the time, I'll just show you how to do some very light weathering, just to make it look as though it's been used a little bit and seen a bit of action. Nothing too drastic, just show you how to bring out some of these nicely raised highlights. Here's set decals, Challenger 1 Mark III, giving us different versions, obviously the desert markings, call sign markings, NATO markings and such, number plates, look really nice. I'll show you how to apply them as well, what we need, and get them laying nice and smoothly on your model. Another sprue. This looks like the bazooka plates for the NATO version. These are what they call bazooka plates. These are the plates that go on the side of the tank here. There's the gun barrel with its thermal sleeve. The thermal sleeve is actually a method of keeping the barrel cool, rather than hiding what some people think it was to hide the heat signature after the weapon had been fired for some time. It's actually a method of keeping the barrel cool so that it doesn't twist or get hot on one side. It was found during maybe the war that if you fire a cannon for such a long time, the wind on one side actually cools it off, cools one side off and the other side remains hot, so you end up with a warped barrel. They developed the thermal sleeve to go across that. So we'll be showing you how to put that together and how to pick out some of these details on there. Yeah, once again, nicely detailed, lots of parts on there, lots to get on with and put all together. Right, here we are. Here's the extra sprue that I did speak about. This is the one that Tamiya added to the basic kit right at the start. And this was what made it become the desert version. There are a couple of these here are extra fuel tanks. They added 200 extra litres to the fuel tanks, to the fuel capacity of the tank, so that it could go for extended periods in the desert. The chopper armour and the reactive armour that would go on the front. As I say, I think I'll be building this as the NATO version, so I won't be needing all these parts. Some of the extra details we could use and add them to the tank, but I won't necessarily be using these, but that's entirely up to you. If you're following this along, you can build yours quite easily, follow it along and just add the extra parts as the NATO version. Remember, it's your tank, you build it as you want to do it. I'll just give you some guidance as we're going along. Okay, that's that bit there. Okay, finally in the box we have the tank tracks. These look quite nice, and if I remember from building the Chieftain, there were a good set of tracks. There are other versions of tracks available if you wanted to. You can actually buy individually linked metal tracks, but I find these, once they're painted up, once they're on the tank and your tank is on the shelf and being displayed in all its glory, they're just ideal. They're just useful for what you need, and if you're returning and this is your first tank, let's use them. There's no ejector marks or anything in there. Nice clean set of tank tracks. That's all there is in here. And what I'm going to do now is probably take it downstairs, take it in the kitchen, and all these parts, all these plastic parts, I'll give them a scrub, get some warm soapy water, a toothbrush, and wash them. What you'll find when these parts were ejected from the moulds in the factory, they have a very light, you probably can't even feel it. Some companies are a little bit heavier than others, but they do have a very light oil film across them, just to help with the ejection from the moulds. If you take some hot water, some soapy water, and give the parts a rub. It will help, first of all, help you glue it together, and then when you come to apply the paint goes on a lot easier. As I said before, try and keep your parts in plastic bags when you're not cutting parts from the sprues. That way some of them are held on really lightly. If anything falls off, it's going to fall in the bag, and the carpet monster isn't going to eat them and you'll never see them again. That's that. So, as I say, I'll be taking it down, giving it a wash, and then tonight I shall be spending a good few hours having a look through the instructions, making myself getting acquainted with how it goes together, what parts to start with, where the parts are on the sprues, try and identify where the parts are, and then we'll put it together. Simple as that. What we will need when we put it together, we'll put it together and then we'll decide to paint it. What I'm going to try and use in this case is some of the Tamiya paints, really nice acrylic paints, easy to apply either by brush or an airbrush. I'll also use some Vallejo acrylic paints as well. All these paints are mixable with water, so if you need to thin them down for any reason, nice, clean, doesn't fill the house with thinners, fumes from thinners. And I'll probably even in small places use some of the traditional Humbrol enamels. Mix and match your paints, choose your paint colours, choose your paints of choice. It'll go together with liquid poly. This is a liquid poly in a bottle. You've probably seen poly cement coming available in tubes as well. I don't particularly like the tubes myself. I find that they're okay for large areas, but they're not really precise. The way I do it is use a liquid poly. This one from Humbrol actually comes with a brush inside it. I don't particularly like that brush, so I'll use a thin paintbrush. In fact, do I have mine here somewhere? Yep, here it is. This is what I do with my poly. Get a board and stick it on the board with some plasticine or blue tack, because you will guarantee you'll be halfway through your build, you'll come to get some paint out and over it'll go. Put it on the board, plasticine on it, you can even stick your brush on it, and it's a little bit less chance of getting knocked over. Once again, there's loads of different Humbrol, different liquid polys around. All it does is actually just melts the plastic together and becomes one. So that's what makes the strength. Super glues, we probably won't need any super glue in this kit. Some of the kits you can buy will have photo etch or brass parts in them, and you'll need a super glue to put it together. We're not likely to use that in this one. Decal fix, probably going to use some of this. I'll show you how to use it when we come to fix the decals and the markings on the tank. We'll talk about that in a further video. And clear gloss varnish. This is going to help apply those decals, and once again when we get to the stage we'll show you the uses for that. Other than that, you're going to need a decent craft knife. There's lots of versions available. There's the X-Acto craft knife, that sort of style. My weapon of choice is actually the Swan Morton scalpel. It's got a replaceable blade. Really nice, really fits in the hand well. Nice and sharp, in fact dangerously sharp, and really cuts out some parts and is a really useful tool. For cutting your parts from the sprue, I would suggest a heavier gauge knife, or even you can obtain sprue cutters, but I'm quite happy using just a heavy gauge knife. This is the standard Stanley knife. Cut your parts from the sprue with that rather than using the finer points from your scalpel. Try and get yourself some good tweezers, or some useful tweezers. These are really fine pointed tweezers, really handy. I find myself using these a lot more than any of the other tweezers I've got. Another set of tweezers with a bit more meat on the tips, useful for holding bigger parts while you're gluing together. You'll also find it handy to get yourself a set of files, tiny files, lots of different sizes, handy for filing parts down, filing off excess plastic from pieces, trimming off where necessary. However, if you haven't got those, don't need to go out and buy those straight away. You can actually just nip down to the hardware store, buy yourself some wet and dry, or a packet of wet and dry emery paper, and you can actually make your own files just using some lolly sticks, a bit of glue, cut some of the emery paper off and glue it on, and it'll last you for ages. Brilliant to start with, does just the same job as the metal files. Saves you a few quid just to get yourself going, and build it up from there. What else are we going to need? Well, we may need a little bit of filler. This is a what they call Squadron product. It's a green putty, ideal, fairly quick drying. Any gaps or holes that need filling up, a little bit of that put in, and then file it off with your files, back down, and you're good to go. One thing I did forget to mention is when we've done the model, we've put it all together, we're going to need to undercoat it. When I was a kid, I just used to get my little tins of Humbrol out and just splash the paint on. What you really will do is find you will get a lot better finish if you apply an undercoat. This is available. This one's actually Humbrol. It's a spray paint if you don't have access to an airbrush. This is an acrylic spray. We'll give the whole model a coat with this, and then we'll apply the base colours after that. And that is really just about all you need to do to get you going. Next time we come back on the video, we'll look at making a start on this. And we'll be putting our glue to plastic and putting some parts together. So thanks for watching. Come back next time and we'll get on with this. And if you've any comments, or press the like button for the like on the bottom of this video. And that's it. So that's Ted from eModels, and look forward to seeing you next time.